Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really profound philosophical text that honestly completely challenges our day-to-day existence. Just think for a second about the resources you manage every single day. I mean, we usually think of money, energy, time, right? Maybe natural materials. We track them, we budget them, and we're pretty much constantly worrying about running out of them. But what if the ultimate resource is something way more fundamental? Well, our source material today breaks down this exact concept, literally treating our very existence as an asset, one that requires conscious stewardship. We're going to walk through this philosophy step by step to really grasp its weight and what it means for how we live. So let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. The author of our source text grounds this massive philosophical argument in something incredibly tangible, and that's agriculture. The text points out that the true difference between someone who uses a resource correctly and someone who totally abuses it doesn't always show up immediately. It reveals itself in the long run. Just consider a farmer. A farmer who uses their water supply thoughtfully, irrigating at the right times, protecting their soil, is eventually rewarded with this amazing harvest of abundance. It's the ultimate delayed gratification. But the farmer who wastes that exact same water, maybe they overwater or maybe they just let it run off uselessly into the mud, well, they're inevitably met with famine when the dry season hits. It's a simple, undeniable cause and effect. How we manage what we're given today absolutely dictates our reality tomorrow. Let's move to the next concept and see how this builds, because our source material takes that fundamental rule of resources with the farmer and basically asks us to scale it up to the highest possible level. Is life itself a resource that requires such correct usage? I mean, that is a massive paradigm shift. We rarely look at our own lifespan, our very existence, as a finite resource that we're actively managing or, mismanaging. We might meticulously manage our careers or our bank accounts, but life itself, it's often just something that happens to us. If life is the water in this agricultural metaphor, are we intentionally nurturing a harvest? Or are we literally just letting it spill uselessly into the dirt? This text demands that we view our daily breaths, our moments of consciousness, as a serious investment. Now, what's really interesting about this conclusion is the sheer magnitude of what it presents. Take a moment to really let this insight from the scholar Bediuzzaman Said Nursi sink in. The text we're analyzing frames this as the ultimate conclusion to a long reflection on the nature of life. And notice the specific conditions he sets here. He says, since there is life in the world, certainly those among humans who understand the secret of life and do not abuse it. There's that core concept of the resource popping up again, not abusing it. And the ultimate harvest for this correct usage? The text states it's attaining a lasting life in the eternal realm, an endless paradise. So it takes this tangible agricultural metaphor, the water, the seeds, the harvest, and expands the stakes to human eternity. It suggests that the consequences of how we manage our existence stretch way, way beyond our biological years. So the crucial point is distilling exactly what it means to correctly use this grand resource. The text synthesizes this into a single profound phrase: understanding the secret of life. This is the absolute key word of the entire philosophy we're exploring today. It argues that simply existing, just waking up, breathing, eating, going to sleep, is not enough. That is entirely passive. It's like having this huge reservoir of water and just letting it sit there doing nothing. To actually understand the secret of life means to actively recognize the meaning it carries and to deliberately align your daily actions with that meaning. Our source material presents this active realization not just as a nice way to live or a way to be happier, but as the literal gateway to permanence. It's the difference between a life that merely happens to you and a life that is actively, intentionally built. And this brilliantly illustrates the divine backing for this entire philosophical framework. Our source material closes by bringing in a quote from the Quran, specifically Surah An-Nahl, chapter 16, verse 97. It acts as this beautiful spiritual promise for the righteous act of living we just defined. The text promises, whoever does good, whether male or female, and is a believer, we will surely bless them with a good life. It beautifully reinforces the idea that the correct usage of the resource of life, doing good, maintaining belief, truly understanding that secret, doesn't just yield a harvest in the eternal realm. It actually transforms the quality of your existence right now, granting a good life as a direct result. It essentially bridges the gap between the eternal promise and our immediate reality, arguing that living actively and purposefully is fundamentally rewarding in the present tense. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to sit with a final question. We've traced the logic step by step, right? From a farmer thoughtfully watering a field, to the philosophical requirement of not abusing the precious resource of life, all the way to the ultimate promise of eternity and a good life here and now. But philosophy like this, it's only truly powerful when it becomes deeply personal. If you took this core concept, understanding the secret of life, and applied it directly to your own daily routine, your own decisions, your own relationships, what would that actually mean for you? When you wake up tomorrow, how will you treat your time differently? What is the secret you're being asked to understand, and how will it change the way you use your ultimate resource? I'm going to leave you with that thought. Keep learning, keep questioning, and thank you so much for joining me today to unpack this fascinating source material.